We heard the breaking news that the BBC have finally apologised to Nigel. Joining me to discuss that, Olivia Utley, political reporter. Olivia.
Yes, so this has been a pretty embarrassing episode for the BBC all round. What happened was the BBC published a story saying that the reason why Nigel Farage had been refused a Coutts bank account wasn't, as Nigel had claimed, because he'd been turned down for political reasons. It was simply that he didn't have enough cash to have a Coutts account. To hold an account with Coutts, you have to have either £1 million of investment with the bank or £3 million in savings. And Simon Jack, the BBC's business editor, alleged that Nigel Farage had fallen below that threshold and therefore had been denied his account. Now, Nigel Farage said at the time, well, that's odd because I've fallen below that threshold before. I know friends who've fallen below that threshold and it doesn't seem to have mattered before. But by then, you know, the story was online. It was getting a lot of traction. There were people sort of laughing at Nigel Farage for saying that it was political when it seemingly wasn't. Then it emerged that actually Coutts had turned down Nigel Farage on political reasons. They released, well, Nigel Farage got hold of a dossier, which was then published in The Telegraph, which proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the reason why the Coutts team had decided that Nigel Farage couldn't hold an account is because his views didn't align with their personal brand, essentially.
Disingenuous grifter, I think, was one of the words that they used.
And then it emerged, really shockingly, that Simon Jack, the BBC's business editor, the day before he published the story, had sat next to the CEO of NatWest, Dame Alison Rose, at a glitzy awards dinner of some kind. And so obviously people put two and two together and thought, well, Simon Jack quoted senior sources close to NatWest. Was that senior source the CEO of NatWest who he was sitting next to the night before? And if so, was the CEO of NatWest releasing personal financial information about Nigel Farage to a journalist over dinner? And was she lying about the reason that account was suspended? Now, of course, we can't know for sure the answers to those questions, but it puts the BBC in a pretty embarrassing position, and now they've had to apologise.
Well, they should